This is a historic gathering, one of the first of its kind, where 6 Canadian communities from around the world have come together in unity. Iran, Turkey, Serbia, Ukraine, Belaruss, and Venezuela.
Welcome everyone to our rally, United for Democracy. My name is Nazanin Afshinjam. I'm a human rights advocate. I was born in Iran at the start of the revolution, the Islamist revolution that spiraled my country back into the Middle Ages. My father was imprisoned, tortured, and almost executed at the hands of the Revolutionary Guard. When we immigrated to Canada, I can honestly say I have never taken my freedoms and opportunities for granted. Democracy is not a gift. It's a responsibility. And that is exactly why we are all here today. We love Canada with our hearts and souls. Iranians, Turks, Serbs, Belarusians, Ukrainians, Venezuelans, and all the others that are here with us today. And we stand here united because we have seen with lived experience how fragile democracy is and how easily it can erode and fail if we're not careful, if we're not prudent, if we're not vigilant, and if we don't protect it with everything that we have. And these are lessons that we have to impart to our young. We have to empower them, educate them, get them involved in the political process. And we say to our parliamentarians, do not look away. Do not normalize our oppressors. Our oppressors may seem far away in Minsk, in Belgrade, in Ankara, in Tehran, in Beijing, but they are here in our backyards and in our backpacks on our devices. Transnational repression is real. Foreign political interference is real. The Iranian regime has even sent people to commit assassinations here on Canadian soil. They are continuing to impart their hateful ideology here on Canadian soil. But despite the brutality, Iranians inside Iran during the 2022 Woman Life Freedom Revolutionary Movement stood up to say no. No to tyranny, no to oppression, no to the execution of children and political prisoners, no to a gender apartheid system that values the life of a woman as half of a man and executes or kills someone because they don't follow the rules, like wearing a hijab. They say no to the persecution of ethnic and religious minorities. And they stand up to say yes. Yes to freedom. Yes to human rights. Yes to the rule of law. And yes to a secular democracy. We are here because we care deeply about our brothers and sisters back home in our countries of our birth. And their struggle is our struggle. And their liberation will also be our victory. Today we raise our voices, not just in protest, but in promise not to remain silent and not to be passive. We are citizens of Canada, yes, but we are all guardians of democracy everywhere. And we may come from different lands, but our movement today is one. We come here with one voice, one hope, one demand, and that is democracy. Democracy, democracy, democracy.
Truth, justice, democracy for Serbia. Truth, justice, democracy for Serbia. Truth, justice,
Democracy for Serbia!
Truth, justice,
Democracy for Serbia!
truth, justice,
Democracy for Serbia!
truth, justice,
Democracy for Iran!
truth, justice, democracy for Iran. Truth, justice, truth, justice, truth, justice,
United for democracy, peace and human rights. We gather today as Canadians whose roots stretch from Iran, Turkey, Serbia, Belaruss, Ukraine, including Crimean Tatars, and I see other countries here as well, other flags, and Venezuela. We are organizing a multicultural rally that may be one of its first kind in Canada, bringing together diverse communities in a unified call for democracy, peace and human rights. Each of our homelands is living proof that when authoritarianism, corruption and aggression take hold, societies bleed and yet people rise. Ukraine is giving its very life to repeal the brutal Russian invasion aimed at extinguishing its democracy. Serbia's citizens march for truth after preventable tragedy exposed to deadly costs of systemic corruption, and students risk prison to defend free universities and fair elections. Turks witnessed the justice system weaponized to suppress democratic rights and keep Erdogan in power, opposition leaders jailed, protests criminalized, yet they vow that dictators will not win and their country will never become a dictatorship. In Belarus, the dictatorship regime of Lukashenko continued to illegally claim power in Belarus, as well as Kremlin puppet master Putin. Iranians have spent the last 5 decades resisting an Islamic dictatorship. Today they chant woman life freedom, facing bullets and executions because they continue to demand human rights, freedom, equality, and a secular democracy. And Venezuelans fight against state terrorism, a government full of corruption and forced exile, while calling for the recognition of a popular will expressed in the last election in July 28, 2024, and the cessation of repression against democratic sectors. Though our stories are different, our message is one. Democracy, peace, and human rights do not belong to any one nation. They are the birthright of all people. Across the globe, children and civilians are too often the target of aggression. We reject every act that turns homes into battleground anywhere in the world, and every system that disregards human life, tramples freedom, and denies people their dignity. We call on Canadian government and democratic partners to 1. Stand with freedom-loving people resisting tyranny, oppression, and political persecution. 2. Impose targeted sanction on regimes that commit human rights abuse, crimes against humanity, and weaponize courts, bombs, or poverty against their own citizens and citizens of other countries. 3. Protect refugees, dissidents, and exiles in Canada from foreign surveillance, threat, and intimidation. 4. We call on the Canadian government, together with our international allies, to facilitate immediate release of all Belarusians, Iranians, Turkish, Serbian, Venezuelan political prisoners, and to prevent unjust, politically motivated persecution in those countries. To the dictators who believe fear will silence us, we are many, we are united, we are free. Thank you.
for Ukraine, peace and justice for Ukraine. Peace and justice for Ukraine. Democracy for Serbia. 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 Democracy for Turkey. Democracy for Turkey. Democracy for Turkey. Democracy for Turkey. Democracy for Iran. Democracy for Iran. Democracy for Iran! Stop executions in Iran!
Stop executions in Iran!
Stop executions in Iran!
Woman life freedom!
Woman life freedom!
Democracy for Belarus!
Democracy for Belarus!
Democracy for Belarus!
Democracy for Serbia!
Democracy for Serbia!
Democracy for Serbia!
Democracy for Serbia!